How you doing, guys? ZedEye here. So today I wanted to share my full thoughts on the Dead Island 2. Now I finally got an opportunity of finishing it. I have taken my sweet time with this because I wanted to do, well, basically mainly everything. You know, at one point I was even considering, and I was really considering going for a platinum trophy. Now it is still a possibility I may come back to the game and actually end up going for a platinum, but as of this moment, not yet. Okay, before I proceed, give you the pros, the cons, and all the feedback regarding of this game, I wanted to mention that I actually have played Dead Island Riptide and also Dead Island 1. And yeah, so basically I have a little bit, a familiarity towards this game. And a lot of people say that basically, well, if you play Dead Island 1 or Riptide, then yeah, basically it's more of the same, but improvement a lot of cases in terms of the graphics, and that's genuinely is the case. So before I proceed and give you a lot of good things, the bad things, just being more honest in terms of this review, I wanted to mention that in fact I do not want to be biased, but it is important for me to clarify that I got an access code for this game for free. And I was one of the lucky people to get this opportunity, and I got this from Lurkit. Genuinely am appreciative, like they have actually given me this access. I got lucky, really. And yeah, I just want to make sure that I'll give them a little bit of a shout out, so please do check out in the description to their social media links. And also support the developers. Like, see, these developers actually done a fantastic job in terms of the game and what they actually had to go through, especially if you guys know, with 3 different developers that this game had to go through. It's absolutely insane. If you guys are curious, you have to be a part of the Deep Silver Creator Collective. That's mainly the way of actually getting access to these codes. But also, Lurkit, like I mentioned, they can also provide you a code. But again, you guys need to be a content creator for you to receive these codes. And also, there's a possibility you may not. I got the code on the day of the release of Dead Island 2, and that's when I started and began playing it. And like I said, I've taken my time with it. And as such, I finally finished the game, and I feel kind of mixed about it, unfortunately. There's a lot of good things, and unfortunately there's a lot of bad things as well. So, you know what? As I mentioned already, let's get into the best thing about it. I gotta say, the 2 things are genuinely is the beautiful Los Angeles. Seriously, like, it really is gorgeous. Like, such an attention to the detail, like the map, the environment is that these are the best parts about it for sure. I mean, everywhere that you go, right? Santa Monica Pier as an example, Venice Beach, right? It's genuinely beautiful. And what makes it even better for me? Because last year, I believe, yeah, it was in October, I actually, for the first time ever, went to America. I visited Los Angeles, I've seen the places, and I'm just like looking back at it, and I'm just like, oh man, I know that spot right there. Oh man, I walked through here. Oh man, this is so cool. You see that nostalgia, if that makes sense, like, and it's so nice, like, it's so cool. It kind of gave me little goosebumps there and a little bit memories, like, oh man, I've been here, I've been to the Santa Monica Pier as well. It's so awesome to see these things, and it's genuinely nice. You see, like, when you come back to the game, and then you're seeing it and you're kind of remembering all of this. It's just like, such a nice feeling for sure. And yeah, the environment, the attention to the detail that this game got for sure, it's incredible. Like, I mean, they really thoroughly actually made this game very beautiful. Now, I don't know if it's a negative I want to mention, even though maybe it's not, maybe it's a little bit of a nitpick, but it was definitely a developer's choice that they decided to go more of a kind of a base, well, like a section to section area that you can explore a little bit, and you go through a different section, go to a different area, to a different area, and so on. Basically, it's not an open world game, not that type like Grand Theft Auto 5 as an example, because it's based in Los Angeles as well. And as such, it still is interesting to see differences in terms of what LA can actually, well, give you, right? And it's nice to see the environments, the places that a lot of people have been a part of that world, living in that world, and it's genuinely everything that's the way it's kind of presented in this game. It feels like there was life here. Now, even though it's dead, and it makes sense, right? There's basically all over the place the undead walking around, and it's awesome. It genuinely is. But unfortunately as well, I want to mention one negative as well. Like, I think regarding if we have to go to a different thing regarding of crafting, even though the weapons and stuff like that Unfortunately, they're basically the same. If you, like I said, if you played Dead Island 1 or Riptide, you'll experience it once again here, but unfortunately they were not really improved, if at all. And yeah, the crafting, man, it's not that good. It's so simple. All you have to do is simply collect these resources, right, the parts, and you know, just basically, and go to the workshop and just craft your equipment, like attach, as an example, like a shock, or maybe burning, or maybe like something else entirely, like maybe even, it's unfortunate how simplistic it is, and it wasn't really improved upon. Even though it works, right, this kind of upgrading system within this crafting sort of thing, I don't think it really is, you know, viable, if that makes sense. Again, I want to mention another good thing regarding this crafting system, and well, it's not a good thing, but the good part about it, that genuinely is the gore system. Finding zombies, fighting the undead basically, and seeing how everything is just, how brutal it is. The gore system is genuinely incredible. I love it. It's so brutal, but I think it can get a little bit repetitive, because I'm noticing that I keep on changing weapons, right? Every moment I use my weapons, and by the way, normal arms, like, you know, firearms, yeah, they're not very good. They're not good at all. Like shotguns, there's an automatic rifles, pistols, just so many more, and they're not very good at all, unfortunately. But you know, it's mainly tethered towards melee combat gameplay, and it makes sense. But a lot of melee combat, like, you can clearly see and feel the difference in terms of what is better, what is not, right? Like the brass knuckles, or whatever they're called, like basically like Wolverine knuckles and stuff like that, they genuinely are one of the best melee weapons that you should be using, because they're so quick, and like, you're constantly staggering zombies right there and right then, and you're knocking the hell out of them, especially when you hit them in the head. It's so awesome. And especially when you have a crafting system within here, into your brass knuckles as an example, and you equip like maybe an acid, like, I don't know, like an extra upgrade system, and you see how everything melts on zombies when they're covered in acid gas and like liquid and stuff. It's insane. It's awesome. And I really like it. The gore system is incredible in this game, and definitely the amazing, beautiful world and the gore system genuinely elevate this gameplay, and it makes it so much more appealing and fun. But again, because I've said there's like as many as good things, unfortunately there's also quite a lot of, in fact, bad things. Okay, games campaign. The game's campaign is not very good. In a lot of cases I'm noticing that whatever the character you play as, everyone says the same thing to you. And then I'm just looking at it like, you know, while they're having a conversation within a cutscene even, it's as if these characters, right, these like secondary characters, right, they're like talking to you, but then your response genuinely does not make sense. And I know exactly the reason why it was made like this, because there's so many different characters, or, you know, slayers that you can actually choose, and basically you need to make sense, because they all have their own different personalities, their own traits, their own characters, and they would say different things in that certain moment. But because the second characters, like the that are within this game anyway, that you get to have a conversation with, they're all programmed, well, they've all been like, they're all saying basically one thing and again and again and again. And it's just, it feels like these characters are not talking to me or my character. And it feels super, well, not immersive, unfortunately. And I'm just like, okay, dude, can I skip this? You know, I felt like, man, this is bad. Holy God. Like, the only time I decided to start skipping was like midway through the game, but then I started slowing down because I wanted to see the cutscenes near the end of the game as well. You know, because I did hear some people saying that it's quite crazy. I don't know what's crazy about it, but yeah, there was some crazy parts about it. I'm not gonna mention anything more than that. Do not worry, spoiler-free video that this review. But another thing, this is definitely a bad thing. Skill cards. What is the point of those? They're so convoluted on top of that. You have to read every single card, and it just does not make sense in terms of the visuals or the, you know, the pictures that they have in there on these skill cards. It's not good, man. Skill cards are like also quite insignificant. They don't really do much for you, and at least they don't, right, make the gameplay different, unfortunately. That's including the slayers. All the slayers are practically the same. Right, at the beginning of the game, of course, you can see, if you're like paying attention to each slayers that you can choose, you basically can choose whichever slayer, and they all have their advantages and disadvantages. right? And basically, it does not matter, right? Any slayer that you choose, any character you choose, they're always going to be the same thing at the end of the day, especially when you're coming near the end of the game. And that genuinely sucks. Oh my god, don't get me started on side quests. Now that is awful. Side quests are awful. I mean, seriously, like all you do is mash zombies their brains and that's it. And you know, after that, when I finish the story, I've taken my time with side quests as well. I did like maybe 15, 16, maybe even up to 20 of them. No, it feels like I did so many. It's like it kept on dragging itself too long. And I'm just like playing it and I'm like, oh man, I'm so out of my mind, just like thinking, man, I gotta put on a podcast, I gotta listen to something else, I can't deal with this. It's getting super, I'm gonna have to say, it's getting super boring. And I was trying to be a little bit nice to it, but unfortunately, man, there's one big thing about it. I feel like the developers went too safe with Dead Island 2. And it's unfortunate. They should have taken a little bit more risks. I think actually this game did well in terms of the sales, and I did meet the expectations. So there's a possibility that we may see Dead Island 3. Now that could be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it if it does come. But I hope they're gonna innovate. Don't do the same thing you've done here, because, you know, we're not looking for more of the exact same thing once again, 3 times in a row. Right, Dead Island 1, Dead Island Riptide, and Dead Island 2, and especially like a decade later. My goodness, a decade later. I remember when I was playing this, like Dead Island 1 and Dead Island Riptide. I think it was like near the release of Dead Island Riptide. I think that came out in 2013, I believe so. And I just genuinely enjoyed it, but then I kind of outgrew it. Now Dead Island 2 makes an experience. I was never gonna pick it up, but because I got the code, I was like, okay, well, let's try it out, why not? And I said it to myself, I'm gonna go for a platinum trophy, but then I'm just like, I'm so bored. It's just so mind numbing. It's unfortunate. And I'm just like, okay, maybe not. I'll just finish the story, make a review, then I'll decide later on if I want to go for platinum or not. Well guys, that's all I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion regarding Dead Island 2. If I had to give it a score, maybe like a 6 out of 10, that's just on a generous day. 6 out of 10, it gives it like a good game. It's a good game, that's really it. It's just an okay, good game. Alright, like and subscribe. See you guys all. Have a wonderful day.